What's up, everybody? It's Supersmallchibiwolf here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Full Metal Alchemist 2003. This is a 51 episode anime series, and the first thing I want to talk about is the characters. The characters were funny, interesting, amazing, and I loved them. Their reactions towards each other and how they interact with each other were great and resulted in funny and interesting moments. The first character I want to talk about is Edward. Now, he was a cool and funny guy. I like his alchemy and many of his fight scenes where he learns from his mistakes and overcomes them, which made me like many moments. For example, there's a scene where he is training with Alphonse and he is struggling in beating him, but in a real fight, we see how much he cares for those around him, and with that, he finds it within to use his alchemy and fight in a smarter way. In different moments we see him struggle. In different moments we see him kind of be overpowered and or oversmarted, and yeah, which results in his opponent getting a hand over him and beating him. And yeah, those were fun moments. I enjoyed, for example, fights where he, you know, kind of has to do a little bit more thinking and not just fight, fight, fight. For example, a lot there's he uses different types of materials. Like for example, he knows that if you mix this up with this, it will cause an explosion or something like that. I don't. I'm not a science dude, so I forgot what specific stuff they were talking about. But yeah, Edward is one of my favorite characters in anime because throughout the story we see how he handles being in many situations, and he has a great and funny, personality. I love his interactions with his friends because they are funny, and I just love it. I love that. He gets mad at those who tease him for being, short or because of his height, and it was all cool. Also, he has cool alchemist powers or alchemy. The next character I want to talk about is Alphonse. He was nice and one of, I say, he's the brother who, out of the two brothers, he's the one who has more sympathy and understanding of people, which results in him stopping any violent things that might cause or do. He is more reasonable, and he at times he tends to listen and be more responsible in either orders or that are given to both of them, or trying to help people in unfortunate situations, which results in the Elric brothers meeting new people and going on a cool adventure. And I love that. Alphonse is great, funny, and I love him. He is one of my favorite characters in Full Metal Alchemist. And also I enjoy his, he being in like this metal suit and all of that, and him dealing with that itself. And throughout the story, he kind of, you know, what was it? The enemies kind of put in his head and make him think about that stuff too, later on in episodes. Now, the next character I want to talk about is Winry. Now, I love Winry. She, in my opinion, she was amazing. She was smart, talented, and she was a great mechanic. I enjoy her relationship with Al and Ed. She was there to. She's funny. She's great personality. I like how she kind of those moments where she goes along with Ed and Al and their adventures were great as well. I enjoyed that whole interacting with new people and kind of being the one to, you know, kind of set a good relationship with people as well. Better than Ed, I'd say. I noticed later on, when I don't know, man. Like maybe it's just me, but I just had a feeling about adding this. But I don't know why. But when we smile, kind of reminds me of Alpha Smile, Alpha from Yokohama Kadashi Kikau. You know, I don't know, man. It just came up to me one random day while watching this. I was like, yo, yeah, it was just a random funny thing that I caught. So yeah, when we great character. Next character I want to talk about is Roy. He was great. I like him because this cool personality, but within him, he has like a funny guy personality and loves girls. And the moments where he's, you know, takes time away from being serious and strict is those moments I liked a lot. Because you see him, loving puppies and being interested in a lot of ladies and little perverted, and just all out funny personality. And likes girls in miniskirts. He has this cool snap fire attack, and he has an interesting past, which I also like. I would say he's well balanced, when it comes to being a funny and nice guy and strict and serious guy. He wasn't one or the other, which I really did enjoy about him as a character. Next character I want to talk about is Riza, something like that. So Riza Hawkeye, she was a cool girl. I enjoy her. I like that she was there to support and help out Roy, kind of getting him uh, doing kind of what was it? I wouldn't say she's just there just to be a support character. I would say she's more than that. I would say she's the one to keep Roy and everyone else, focused and more put together as a team. I'd say without her, the team would be a little bit here and there, but with her, the team is great. I enjoy how she gives Ed and Al, what was it, advice and helps them out as well. What I didn't enjoy is we didn't get a lot from her. I think in the future, I don't know if Full Metal Alchemist will ever get a movie or whatever, but maybe, what was it, put more into her, because I'd say she is pretty cool. One of my favorite characters, and the moments we did get from her were moments which I enjoyed a lot. So Riza Hawkeye is really cool, in my opinion. Now, the last character I want to talk about, I'm probably going to talk about one more later on, but Baze. I loved Baze, man. He was great. He was a funny guy that also took his work seriously. He has a great, funny, and cheerful personality, and I love the moments where he shows the picture of his daughter to everyone, and that's like his little funny thing, right? He shows the picture and kind of sometimes it annoys people, sometimes this and that, but it was great. His what was it? I enjoy him. He was an interesting guy as well. Him walking and doing those moments where we see him within the episodes, and yeah, man, I'd say all out, Maze was a character that I wanted to give a little bit more light to, and yeah. So next thing I want to talk about is the story. The story starts with Edward and Alphonse using alchemy in hopes to bring their mom back from the dead. Alchemy is a magic in their world. So after attempting to resurrect their mother, instead of both brothers succeeding in bringing back their mother that unfortunately has passed away, instead both brothers lose parts of themselves. Ed loses a arm and a leg, while Al loses his entire body. And so Edward uses blood and alchemy to combine his soul into armor. From here, Edward and Al are in search of the philosopher's stone so they can get their bodies back, and hopefully they can also um, achieve like bringing their mom back to life too, which is something that they really want to do as well throughout the story. Also, they live by following alchemy's first law of equivalent exchange, which is something that, it was a nice thing. I like that, these characters, they're not just going through this adventure they live by a, saying, by a moral, I think they call it, something like that. So, story wise, it kept me interested. It was cool and I enjoyed it. The next thing I want to talk about is the music. The music was great. I like it. Now, I'm going to get more specific within this category. So, the intro was catchy and I liked the music, and the outro had a great tone to it, like set a nice mood, and the instruments were also cool and great and enjoyable as a whole. I like the first intro more than the other ones, and I feel the same way about the outro. But the other music was nice, but wasn't as good as the first intro and outro. There is a song called um, Brata, Brata. I don't know, something like that, which plays during the moments of Ed and Al, when they're together or when they have, what was it? Because during the times Ed and Al are together and kind of having their own moments, the song plays, and I'd say those were good moments, and I enjoyed that they had like a little bit of a theme for themselves, right? But I also like it because in certain moments, not all the moments, it gives it off a mysterious and relaxed feel that made the world of Full Metal Alchemist better. That made that moment better. But depending where and when the song is played and what moment it gives, I have a different opinion, of course, towards that. So this song fits them well in certain moments, but as a whole, the music was good. I'd say. In many fight scenes, which is the next thing I want to talk about, in many fight scenes, I enjoy the creativity. In, for example, we see, um, oh, many times they having difficulties. Say, was Ed, right? He's having difficulties, and so what he does is he uses the knowledge that he learns and knows about what was it, like salt is this and that. Me personally, I don't know any of that shit, you know. And so I'm just making stuff up, but it's basically aligned similar to this. Like, oh, salt has 5 milligrams or something, and then they see that scientific stuff, and then they apply it to what they know, their knowledge towards that, combined with their powers, combined to, oh, this guy's arm is made of this, so we're gonna do this to overcome his attacks or kind of help us defeat him. So seeing stuff like that, even though I am no science person or any of that, um, was interesting. You know, to be honest, I'd say it's similar to, you know, what was it? Um, you know how in horror video games they talk about stuff. So I see it's similar to that. Even though I don't know anything about all that stuff. It's interesting because the characters make it interesting. So yeah, another thing I want to talk about is, you know, I love that there's so many great scenes and moments. For example, one of my favorite scenes is on episode 30 in the time period of 436 because we see, so much, in love towards other characters throughout the series. Like Armstrong, for example. We see how he intensely flexes his muscles in a competition, which results in them winning the respect of each other. Yo, I had to bring this up, man. This is really, like, I've even played one of the best scenes. Like, I enjoyed it so much. Yeah, it was just perfect. Like what was it? I was showing it to friends, right? Memeing it and just, it was great, great scene, one of the best. Uh, so yeah. So next thing I want to talk about is I like the backstories of the characters, because we get to have more information and interesting information about these characters. Sometimes it's crazy, sometimes it's funny, but in many ways it all comes down to it was good. I won't spoil anything. But let me say this: I love the backstories of Ed, Al, and Roy the most, and everyone else. I say are similar. But what I want to say also is I wish we got more of Riza, as a whole, backstory wise, her, more of her episode for her, because I did enjoy her, but I would say someone like Renry is I like more than her. So yeah. Now, one point I want to bring up is that I don't think I'm going to make a video. Let's be honest, I'm not going to make a video putting this topic itself. But I want to bring up the fact that Fullmetal Alchemist 2003 ended before the manga or original source material was finished because at the time the anime caught up to the manga and had its own ending. For many people, this might be a turn off, but for me personally, I didn't mind it because the because Hiromu Arakawa, the creator of Fullmetal Alchemist, uh, had some involvement with this anime, but not all of it, and gave the creators permission to have its own unique ending. So in a way, I'd say it's canon. It's canon because she gave the permission, but it's not. She didn't do it 100%. They say, "Oh, this is how it ends." But in my opinion, it's canon. I feel good with this ending due to at least the creator got a saying and said, "Look, this is how I wanted it," and boom. You know what I mean? So yeah, many people might be, I heard people hating on this anime because, oh, it's not the true ending, it's not of the manga and stuff like that. But in my opinion, if the creator is going to be like, look, this is how I want my anime to end, then who says it's not canon? Who says it's not? Who says, oh, it's bad? Because, you know what I mean? In my opinion, the creator gave permission and the creator said, look, I love it this way. So in my opinion, I love the ending. And the ending in general, even if this didn't go on, I still like the ending. So, oh, I'll also say this. Either way, a lot of animes have original endings. Oh, sorry. Disturbed. But yeah, like what I was saying, a lot of animes have different endings and original endings, you could say. In my opinion, Fullmetal Alchemist is the best best original anime ending because the creator itself said, look, I feel comfortable with this, and she gave a blessing and said, look, this is how it's ending. So in my opinion, it feels good. It feels satisfying, in my opinion. Now, another anime that I did differently from the manga would be a comic kill. Now, oh shit. Now, I recommend watching that review of mine. I had a lot to say about that, so I'm not going to talk about anything about that no more. So, with that being that, let's continue on. I don't think I brought this up, but usually I watch and review anime and movies and all that. But sometimes, you know, I review an anime. I mean, a movie of an anime series I already watched. The reason I bring this up is because, as far as my research, I did research, so it goes like this: the series Full Metal Alchemist 2005, which is uh the next one, I believe, and then after that one is Brotherhood. So the order would be Full Metal Alchemist, then the 2005 movie, and then Brotherhood. So in the future, I will be reviewing all those things in order, the whole series in that order, if you were interested. Just wanted to bring that up so you all know in the future it will be coming. So the last thing I want to talk about is, well, yeah, man, Full Metal Alchemist as a whole. You know, in many animes, they have a lot of interesting stuff. Full Metal Alchemist, I would say, kept me interested. Had many interesting aspects and really does great with the characters. And there are many times where I felt like just wanted to watch this anime, and it even prevented me from watching other animes. Because usually I watch three at a time or something like that. So yeah, man, I really did enjoy the story. It got to me, the characters got to me, and made me more interested, more invested in this. Like, oh man, So there's that. I'd say to end this anime, I'd say Full Metal Alchemist it has a great story, cool characters, good music, and interesting stuff about it, and about how they use alchemy to other stuff as well. I recommend watching Full Metal Alchemist. The and yeah, man, it was really great. The animes that I recommend watching are Dragon Ball because it also follows a young dude named Goku. Like we all know Dragon Ball at this point, I think, and his friends in this amazing adventure. And the second anime I'm going to recommend is A Certain Scientific Railgun because they managed to have similar worlds and similar scientific stuff within their worlds, which I really did enjoy and love. Also, Ed and Al can use alchemy to create and repair stuff, and Makoto can create or manipulate electricity so it makes sense to recommend this anime. So, and it is what I really did enjoy as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, bye. Now I'm going to be talking about our spoiler stuff. So yeah, continuing now. So, I love animes, you know. One thing I didn't enjoy is, and I think the last time I watched an anime like this was ending, oh man, yeah, it's been a while. So I'm talking about Maze getting killed. Okay, you had a while to, if you got mad at that spoiler, like I gave you, you know, I gave you the whole time. So Maze being killed, man. In my opinion, he was a great guy. I love this dude, man. He was the funny dude. You know, at serious, his serious moments were great. You know, it wasn't like you know how some people are serious moments in the anime and kind of yeah, it's good and it's good. You know, I'd say no. When he's serious, it was a good. You know, like he's not just a funny dude, right? He could be taken serious. You know, he has his moments where he's really funny and he feels more alive than other characters in those moments. And I enjoyed that. You know, oh man, it was just so great. You know, I hate that it killed him off, man. It was pretty. It sucked, but I enjoyed that they kind of kept reminding us, like, hey, he's a character. They didn't just, oh, he's dead. Let's move on. Let's move on and continue on with the episodes. Like, no, they kept on bringing his name back and kind of kept him by spirit, you know, by name. They kept on saying him, like, hey, you know, when the day he died or this or that. And yeah, man, I enjoyed that. So that's the only thing I wanted to talk about. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what you don't think in the comments below. With that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time.